We have on stage Clemens Kirner. He is CEO and founder of Insider Navigation. He was founder and owner, I think, of Innovation Rocks, which he sold 2017 to a private equity fund. Congratulations. And we have Jesse Stammers, Business Development Manager for AR and VR of the Antea Group. Really looking forward to your talk. Stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Does it already work? Perfect. So thank you very much for joining our talk, especially when I guess there's also a great talk in parallel at the main stage, but I guess we really can show you something unique which started 1 year ago. As already said in the introduction, I'm Clemens, founder of Insider Navigation. I don't know if you noticed all of the stickers on the floor, so we are responsible for that. If you haven't tried it now, I'm happy that Jesse supported me here on stage and will show you what Antea, our partner in the Netherlands, has done with it, because we've set up a framework for indoor positioning and navigation, but it's nothing without our partners, which then build the IP and the process around it. And I'm happy that Jesse joined me and will take it from here and show you how you really can improve processes and maintenance.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really nice to be here, actually, because we're, as Antea Group, not a typical party to give a presentation on an expo like this. We're not your typical tech company, but we do asset management and we do a lot of stuff as an engineering company where IT solutions give great advantages for our clients. So actually, I was introduced as a BD manager, virtual and augmented reality. That is also since only 2 years when I did my first project with virtual reality and was amazed by what it does for us, and then I decided that we needed, as a company, a BD manager, augmented reality. So I'm just gonna show some slides of what we do as a company. We're in 6 lines of business, so pretty much everything that you see outside, the whole built environment, buildings, infrastructure, but also environments, the contracts, the planning, all the phases of the built environment where consultants or engineers designing bridges, highways, name it. So I have a couple of examples. First, we're from Holland. That's where we started 65 years ago. And we've expanded around the world with now 3,500 people. It still says 233,000, but it's a bit more. Just to show you a couple of things that we do as a company. We're making the commercial port in Algeria. We're doing the constructional management of it. It's a really big process where when we're finished, 6.5 million containers will go through and millions of tons of goods. In Phoenix, we're developing what we call modes. They're little balls, which inspect dangerous places where we can't go as an inspector. So we call them the inspectors of the future. So this is also an example of where we, as an engineering firm, seek universities, technical universities, and try new examples of stuff like this. And then in Holland, of course, we take great pride in our infrastructure. It's really efficient. So we're doing a lot of projects in also trying to reduce traffic jams and designing the roads in such a way that it works. A really important one that I don't want to forget is Centric. You saw it already on the first slide. Centric is our sister company. It's an IT company, and we're pretty much in luck to have a sister like this because we can think of solutions for our clients, but and then Centric pretty much has to do it with Clemens or INS. So it's for us it's a real advantage to have that, and we're seeing the last couple of years. Every year we're doing more together, and we're more and more one company. I already told you that we're not a tech company and we're pretty new to this field. Last year, we were here for the first time, together with one colleague of mine, and we met Clemens. And this year we're here on stage showing a project. So I think that's really cool that an expo like this has that value, that maybe next year you're doing a project with the guy next to you. So I really like that idea, and going through the expo is, for me, is like almost like a candy shop with so many solutions for different use cases of ours. So that is an introduction. Schiphol Airport, it's difficult to pronounce. Amsterdam Airport Schiphol is a client of ours where we do asset management. So at the, you can imagine that at an airport there are tens of thousands of assets. Like if you look in a room like this, you already see like hundreds. Each asset contains information that is really important for us and for our client. And how to manage that information, that's a really big challenge. So I guess it was the first thing that I went to Clemens last year to talk about that. We do also inspections of the structural conditions of toilet groups. So we inspect all those assets. So there are 115 toilet groups, 35 to 50 elements, so assets per group, and each year we inspect them. So you can imagine that it gets complex pretty quickly, and also there are loads of different parties involved, contractors, we as an engineering firm, also Schiphol themselves. So making that a quick and smooth process is a challenge. I think now.
Yeah, we just wanted to show you very briefly the Cure technology that comes from us. And I mean, you can believe when I founded the company in 2014, we thought about many use cases, but not that it's used to inspect toilets. So I'm really happy that we found it. Yeah, exactly. It's sexy. It's always a good door opener when you have a talk. You can do a lot of things, and toilet inspection is one of it. But what I want to show you is a brief introduction in our technology, because what we have, as mentioned briefly in the intro, is very simple, right? We have a tool that we hand over to our partners, which helps them to make a building recognizable, understand within 1 to 5 centimeters where you are, where you're looking at, and then have a platform which is very easy to use. So everything is a native app and running in a web view that you can augment information. And it doesn't matter now if we are talking about toilet inspection, or as you will see in the use cases in our demo video, logistics for Volkswagen, or if you, for instance, then do something else. So just want to show you briefly what Antea took, that they can build up that solution, and then hand over again to Jesse, that you see how they took it then and transferred it into toilet inspection.
Insider Navigation is the leading hardware-independent indoor navigation provider based on augmented reality. No beacons, Wi-Fi, or GPS is needed, and it works centimeter or inch accurate. By using our software development kit, intuitive real-time positioning makes it easy to navigate through complex venues. Customized augmented reality content can be displayed at a precise physical spot and enables 2D and 3D objects in your environment. Show required data at a place of your choice and merge your digital data with your physical venue. Our USP is to make every building interactive without expensive hardware. Insider Navigation provides a simple process to initialize with our system buildings. Millions of square meter or square feet can be identified in a matter of days. Through the Insider Navigation web interface, navigation grid and routes can be easily changed, and content can be added and changed, plus many more great features. All the changes you make in the Insider Navigation web interface will be immediately transferred to the clients using our software development kit. And here is the best part. Our system is easily scalable, works with every operating system like iOS, Android, Windows, or Linux, is industry proven, and your data is secure.
So as you can see, in general, we try to be independent concerning the platform. we try to be the glue between the digital data and the physical building, and I guess this is the part where I want to hand over and let you show how you use it.
Yeah, so that's what I saw last year being here, and for me it was an eye-opener, and I directly saw a lot of use cases, and I guess in AR we see a lot of asset management inspection kind of tools. So this is actually where we started. I'm not sure if I'm proud of it, but we started, I think, 10 years ago at Schiphol Airport with this asset management. So year by year, we know what an asset does. So we know that after 6 years, a toilet is flushed through, and we have to arrange a new one. And we started in Excel, which worked for a really long time. But now this Excel table is 10,000 rows, and there's, I guess, only one person who understands where everything is. So this is a big risk for us, that if that person goes, how will you find your information? So the variables that we have there are the location, of course. So where is it? Well, you can imagine 10,000 rows, 10,000 objects, a really big place. Where can I find it? And especially for a contractor who has to go to these places, where can I find it? The object itself, what are we talking about? The condition score, which is scored by us, and then that information goes to the contractor, and he has to find it and do something about it, maybe install something new or improve it. And then history, that's a really important thing for us, because doing asset management, it is not something is broken, we go there, we fix it. No, we want to know how the asset behaves through the years. So this information is key. Well, and then we said to Clemens, let's try to incorporate this into your software to get Centric. And we came up with this. I guess there's an embedded video now. And it works.
Perfect. It's too easy.
How would it look like being guided by a smart asset management system, for example, in doing inspections without containing prior knowledge? Our asset management system in augmented reality manages all assets, determines your route in the building, and helps you with the inspection. Consider it as your own asset assistant. The indoor positioning system detects the live position of the user using the locations of the position markers. The system can therefore also be used in locations without any internet connection. Subsequently, the route will be calculated and the inspector is guided to the selected location. As soon as the user arrives, the map with the located assets will be displayed. The user can rate the assets on, for example, quality, cleanliness, or defects. This rating is linked to the specific object in the database and can be easily approached in the future. A picture can be added to the object for a more specific clarification of the defect, missing item, or other shortcoming. The notification will be real-time updated in the database. Hence, immediate action can be taken in ordering parts or in planning the repair. AR Asset Management. Locate, rate, done.
And as we've seen during that project, what we can solve, I guess, with this partnership and that technology together is that for complex venues, we have an easy navigation. I mean, Schiphol Airport is huge, 115 toilets. How do you find it? And as you can see with AR, even if you change between stores, for instance, or between levels, you can have 2D, 3D navigation. So it's really easy, especially when you have so many different parts, where to find the piece that you have to check. And afterwards, as Jesse said, also how, as the contractor, how do you find that part that you have to replace? Apart from that, what we have seen is that when you want to start with such a technology, there also then are coming other departments saying, okay, you already implemented that, you already have a recognition of the whole building since we understand the XYZ coordinates. So can I use it on my device and can I use it for navigation? Can I use it for inspection? So the nice thing is, as we've seen, then the clients, when they see the value, they are eager and to do more. And apart from that, we've seen that our clients are collecting more and more data. And I guess, as Ori Imba also said at the opening speech this year at the AWE in Santa Clara, when we managed to merge all the digital data with the physical venue together, then I guess that's another level of efficiency that we therefore can achieve, which isn't possible before, I guess, without augmented reality. And a big advantage from our solution, as far as we've seen, as far as we get the feedback from clients, is that we don't care if the environment, the structure changes. So the big advantage is, even if you have structural changes, or if you do this in a warehouse and it's full and empty, it still works stable, since we always have the XYZ coordinates that we understand within the building. And I guess, based on this and the experience that we had from the last year and the journey that we had, the nice thing is that we've seen that, as you already said, out of a conference like this, I guess there's a lot of future projects, what we've seen, totally other different industries as well.
Yeah, totally different industries, but then again, it's kind of the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's a toilet group or we're at the steel manufacturer. For me, the thing that I'm so enthusiastic about is attaching information to a physical object. So in the keynote, the AR cloud, that idea that when we go back after a year, that information is attached, for us that's a big deal. And we're now looking into different kinds of use cases to implement that. So warehouses, you already saw, that's a surrounding where we can easily work with this software, because it fits right in like a B2B environment. But also we got questions from supermarkets, and then it gets a little bit more challenging. But how do we work this for a supermarket and for consumers to find their way and are being led to the right item? So it's also about efficiency and finding your own products. Something that I'm also very fond of is we do a lot of tunnel projects. So this is a really big one at Maastricht, the A2 highway. A really big project. The nice thing, I think, is that you can use this technique while we're building it. So helping the constructor, constructing a light or I don't know, placing a 3D object also as a kind of a map. So that's something I like. But also when it's there, how do you maintain your assets and do the maintenance? For instance, there are over 900 cameras in those tunnels. Of course, when cars are going through, it's really difficult to do the maintenance. So they're shut off in the night, and you have to be really quick, efficient, and get out again. So then having a navigation to that one camera, I don't know where it is, and doing your work, that's a good business case, and that's what our clients are interested in. So yeah, we're really enthusiastic about.
Enough to do for the next year.
Yeah. Curious what we're saying then. Yeah. So thank you, I guess, for now. And if there are any questions, let us know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys. It was very interesting. Is there any questions?
Yes, one over.
There's one over here. Okay, then we start in the back and bring the microphone over.
Yeah, hello. I was just wondering if the environment is not that stable, if it's changing environments you are working in, how with the insider navigation, how does that work?
In general, if you just change the structure, right? If you have a warehouse which is full and empty, or if you just change the structure in within, what we do is we only need the 2D floor plan in the right scale. Then we have that markers that you've seen outside, position them within the floor plan. We got a wizard in our backend which helps you to set this up, and then we understand the X, Y, Z coordinates. And in between, we use the relative tracking. So the relative tracking adapts to the environment, how it is. So even if you change it, we still understand the X, Y, Z coordinates where you are. So even if you have a new wall, you just change the navigation grid in the backend, and that's it. And that's the big advantage. So we don't care if there's something new, a wall or something like this.
So that's the reason also for me that I really like those markers. Well,
yeah,
it's something, of course, that's a lot is happening in that field with point clouds and stuff. But I liked it that you have the marker on the ground, on the building site. Stuff around you is happening. It's getting built, but you still know your position, and still your data is attached to a physical place. So
and you get a solution that you can use in a tunnel, right, which is quite self-similar, or warehouse.
So my question's kind of a follow-on to that then. So the markers, how robust are they? In something like a tunnel, I imagine it's quite dark, and also, over time there must be a lot of dirt in the air that attaches to them. How, do you have to maintain them? How long do they work for?
In general, you're right. That was a big concern at the beginning, and was also a problem. But I guess it took us around 18 months together with a partner right here around the corner in Unterschleißheim, where we developed different kind of markers. One where you can drive with a truck or a forklift over it and even turn around. Some which are working in a refinery because you have to take care that they don't burn and stuff like this. It's also a use case that we have right now. And apart from that, you can put the markers on the floor, on the ceiling, on the wall, so we are pretty flexible on this. So normally that's not a big issue. And the good thing is, since we have marker groups every 25, 50 meters, even when one doesn't work in between, you have the relative tracking, so it's not a big issue. And we can detect when markers are not working, send this back, and then you can replace it. And normally replacement takes for one marker around 1 to 2 minutes.
Maybe related to this question, I have a follow-up question to that. When you go into a room, into an aisle, how accurate, how quick is it initializing? Like, do you have to go very close to the marker and it's then initializing, or can you be far away?
That depends, of course, the size of the marker, depending on the distance where you can recognize it. The one that you have seen and which we guys would use in the tunnel, the one which are stretched that you see over there, we use for Volkswagen in their logistics, and you can recognize them out of 10 to 15 meters. So it just depends on the size and where you can recognize it.
So that was actually, of course, our question as well. I have to convince my company that this is a good idea, of course. So we did a demo at our own company in Holland, and I was amazed by the reach you have from starting at a marker and then being free to walk around and then still finding your fire exit at the right spot. So yeah, that's for us is a big plus and a must.
Yeah, but I guess we are normally within 1 to 5 centimeters, and after 50 meters without the marker to recalibrate, you got a drift of 20 to 50 centimeters. Of course, also depends on the device that you are using.
Okay, cool. There's another question here.
Okay, I was wondering, you showed us the Excel that was used before implementing the new solution. How did it look afterwards? So you showed us the solution, the end user doing the inspection.
Mm-hmm.
How was the return? How do people know, okay, we need to order parts? What is the status of certain toilet groups?
Mm-hmm. You mean how the content management system?
Yeah. Is it another type of database? Did you build a whole backend around it?
For those questions, I would like to ask Centric, but we did a POC where we made a start in that, and now we're looking at scaling that up for the rest of the airport. And that's going to be a big question, how we do that in a good way. But I guess coming from an Excel of 10,000 rows to something like this is going to be a huge improvement. Yeah.
Hi. I had a question about not so much the technology behind it, but more the usability behind it. So these waypoints, they get generated automatically, I presume, to go from one point to another point, because you're talking a lot about very dangerous environments. So warehouses where you have forklifts running around, you have steel mills where things can all happen, you have tunnels where things are driving around. And when I saw their video, the guy was generally looking at his iPad and not so much at his surrounding.
Yeah.
So I was very curious, do you take that into account, and have you noticed anything like that, that dangerous situations might occur from that?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Maybe you can tell something about Volkswagen.
No, I mean, I guess there are two different things, right? I mean, the good thing is when you look at the iPad, but you still got the video stream. So what we've seen is especially that the people are not looking down like this and looking at it to T-map, but in general, you look through the iPad, through the camera, and you see what's happening in front of you. Of course, I mean, in future, it's cool when you have glasses which can do this, but at the moment, I mean, you know, for relative tracking, I guess most of you already know that's quite a challenge for glasses right now. But till now, it was not that big issue, to be fair, since you always see more or less what is in front of you through the iPad. It's more an advantage, I guess, on this side, because the people are not bumping into each other or something like this. But of course, for German factories, we also have AR warning signs, take care, here's a forklifter coming in. So.
But it's a really good question, and of course, we thought of that. And for us also, Clemens mentioned glasses. It is all new, emerging technology. Laying down this infrastructure for us is already a really big step, and we're looking forward to better glasses and stuff like that to happen. But that's also an important thing, to just having that infrastructure. Yeah.
Maybe one last question. Then I have one, maybe as a bridge to the next talk. What are the main barriers to rolling it out from a prototype to the pilot project in your case?
Well, also my own company, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the field that we're in is pretty much conservative. So coming with a whole new approach to doing stuff like this took a lot of time of convincing people that it works. So those are barriers. Of course, working together with an airport, it's a complex environment with a lot of rules that you have to take into account. So there were some barriers we had to take before we could do the first project. But we see now that once they see it and our client walks around with the iPad and is navigating, as soon as they do it themselves and they experience it, they're sold. So yeah.
I guess from a technical side, I guess it's quite a long way that we went the last year, right? Because we learned that we need something like it should run on premise, it can be on Linux, a server, on a Windows server. It should have single sign-on. It should run on MySQL or Oracle, depending on the IT strategy of our clients. So there are a lot of things that we had to change so that it also fits to all of the different industrial environments. But now that's a good thing, and that's what we've learned. And after this, when you went through all of this, and when you ran through the Chief Information Security Officer process, through the doctor of the company, through the union, and when you got all of the checklights, I guess this is a process that we've now done, and where we see then that's really not, and that's what I like so much here now in augmented reality, since I guess it's for me the 7th time or 8th time at Augmented Reality Expo, that the things are changing from POCs, that we also now have implementations which are actually live and into operations, and that's what I like so much, I guess. And I guess what many talks said, AI is real now, and that's the good part.
Cool.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Jesse. Thank you very much, Clemens. Thank you. Have a good evening.